Excuse me, guys. Let's take another look at the Bitcoin chart. I'm getting a different impression now looking at this chart now from what I was thinking earlier because we are starting to get some consolidation between 64, 65, whatever you want to call it, up to 71K. We're consolidating and we're tightening. And then if you look at the RSI down here, right, it's bullish divergence that's going up. Also, you see the MACD, though we're below the zero line, it's crossing to the bullish upside, and you see impressions on the histogram going green now. So, on this consolidation, if we break above that 71K mark, 71, 72K, we break structure, that's bullish. So, where would it possibly go up to if it did break that top trend line? It could retest the bottom of the breakdown from the previous bear flag consolidation in that range around 85, 86 even. But am I bullish on Bitcoin overall? I would be if the Clarity Act gets passed. And right now that's being held up by the Senate. There's two different committees within the Senate, and the banking committee is basically holding up their part of it because they don't want to pay stable coins interest or for deposits in stablecoin. The banks are fighting against it basically. So that would be a catalyst if the Senate passes it and it goes through to a vote and to the president to sign off on. That'd be a major catalyst and impetus to push crypto in general up much higher. But right now we're going through a consolidation, but that's kind of like wedging now. If you look at it, it's getting tighter. So it's going to break one way or the other at some point. If you might want to call that a bull flag consolidation because you had a reversal candle that was green, a strong engulfing green candle here. So it looks almost like a bull flag consolidation. So the likelihood that you could trade at a minimum this channel between the lower range to the upper range from 64 to 71 for the next couple of days at least until something happens to push things higher or lower. Like, for example, I would pay attention to the Clarity Act. If that gets passed, definitely I think it breaks that pattern and it breaks to the upside, at least for the short term. And right now you see an inclination for the RSI going higher, which is bullish. And then you see, despite the fact of the MACD's down below the zero line, there is a cross right there now. The histogram is showing some indication of bullish momentum, even though it's small. So, with that being said, am I bullish Bitcoin? Maybe in the short term, it's tradable. And what I mean to say, you could trade a proxy. So, my proxy of choice for Bitcoin would be a crypto miner that's beaten down because they act almost so as if they're a leverage play on Bitcoin's price action. Bitcoin can move just a percent in a day, but the crypto miners literally can move double digit in percentage relative to what Bitcoin does. And so that's what I'm watching right now. And the two I picked out for trading and I've been trading are CleanSpark and Mar. I've got other names on it, including Blocks that I have shares of, and BTCI, which I have shares of. I'm beaten down on my shares of BTCI and Blocks currently. I haven't started averaging down on them yet. More than likely, I would just divest myself of them. I'm looking. I got a call option on a BTCI, a covered call that I sold. That I'm looking to close, just in case we break out on Bitcoin. As we break out Bitcoin, what I'm gonna do is if we break up in here, I'm gonna resell that covered call at a higher strike, more than likely, and get more income on that covered call. But other than that, what I'm looking to do really is just continue maybe selling puts on Mara, which are very lucrative. I get over $100 for a $5 strike going out to January of 2027. So the return on that is phenomenal. The risk, there's some risk. Yeah, if Bitcoin breaks down further, Mara is going to drop under $5 a share pretty easily. But with that being said, I'm okay averaging down at that point because the optionality of Mara is just amazing. If you look at the options table, you'll see what I'm talking about. If we go out to January out 328 days to January of next year, you'll see what the $5 strike is currently paying. And that was going for much higher. I got in at around 109 starting out, and have been waiting. And what I should have been doing was selling additional puts at the 130 plus mark, because they were going for much higher, almost 140 at one point. And right now they're still around 120, 123 was the last contract. You can see the open interest on that is just phenomenal at 82,456 for open interest. So it's not just me that are selling puts at that point. Um, I might be looking to buy calls too, potentially, but it's lucrative selling the puts, so why not just sell puts and get paid? That's kind of how I'm looking at it. CleanSpark, I closed out contracts already on that, and I don't have anything else but shares of blocks at BTCI, but I'm looking to close it, my cover call on BTCI, to get back in on it if there is a bounce. If there is a bounce on this chart for Bitcoin, in other words, I'm probably going to close it pretty soon, actually, because we're consolidating and look for a re-entry on it if we break out to the upside up in here. All right, guys, take care. Bye.